This was my first audiobook ever, and man, am I so glad that I picked it up. Hey everyone, my name is Meera. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. Now I've decided to review books on the basis of certain pointers. First is plot. As a retelling of The Little Mermaid, Sarah Henning's book is quite the twisted tale. It tells us the story of three friends, Nick, Evie and Anna. Nick is the crown prince of Honestor, Anna is of noble birth, and Evie belongs to a family of witches, which makes her not a crowd favorite in that society because they condemn and hunt witches. One day when the three friends were having a gala time on the beach, an unfortunate accident leads to the demise of Anna. She drowns in the sea. Years later, Evie happens to meet a girl who has an uncanny resemblance to Anna, and she is certain that her best friend has come back from the dead. As for the execution of this plot, it is a very well-paced novel and it reads just as mesmerizingly and as magically as any fairy tale story should. It starts off introducing us to the three friends and their bond, so we learn a little bit about how much Nick, Anna and Evie mean to each other. There are quite a few flashbacks in the novel in between chapters. So while the main chapters, they cover what is going on in the present, these flashbacks chronicle what went on about 4 years ago, up until a point where the flashbacks and the story about the present come together to form like a complete picture for us. The conflict in the novel, or rather the turning point in the story, is not revealed to us until about 3/4 of the novel, which is something that's unusual because this conflict is what drives the novel. So that's not something I would say was bad about the novel, because despite that, it is a very well written novel, so it was gripping nevertheless. I happen to have read the synopsis of this novel, so I sort of guessed what was gonna happen towards the end. But if you haven't read the synopsis, then please go read the book without it. It is going to make much more of an enjoyable reading experience for you. The author's writing style is also very wholesome and it focuses at the right moments on the world building. Nick and Ika are your quintessential charming princely boys, both with an eye for one of the female leads. There isn't much that's unique about their characters, but I still enjoy the novel because of what they brought to it and the role they played in the entire scheme of things. Anna and Evie's character arcs are something I enjoyed about this novel. There's quite a bit of unexpected in there, so I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it too. Now, the reason why I didn't give this book an entire 5 stars despite how much I enjoyed it is because of Nick and Evie's equation. So there are moments when it makes you feel like Nick and Evie, they consider each other just best friends, and then there are moments that hint at something much more. So I was really confused and I was annoyed because they couldn't make up their minds. There are moments when Evie would act jealous even though she's the one setting up Nick with the girl, and there are moments when through Nick's thoughts you come to understand that he cares for Evie on a much more intimate and personal level. So I feel like this trope of best friends falling for each other, or even this trope of a prince falling for a girl who is not that well off, could have been avoided. Friendship is the main theme of this book. It forms the basis or the foundation of the novel. Other than that, you also get glimpses of court life. There's a little bit of betrayal thrown in there. Then of course there are the supernatural or the mystical elements because it is a retelling of The Little Mermaid. There is also a good splash of culture in there. So this culture is associated to a certain group of people from Denmark. And a USP is what I consider to be the selling point of the novel. So first of all, it's based in Denmark. I haven't read books based in Denmark, so this made for a very interesting addition. There are glimpses of pagan culture, which is also new for me because while I have read a lot of fantasy novels, ones that dabble in occult themes, I haven't read any about pagan culture. And of course, it is a take on The Little Mermaid, so that in itself is a USP for this novel, and there is a twist in it as well. So that was just brilliant. Finally, it borrows a little bit from Norse mythology. So there's stuff about how these crowds, they worship a goddess Urda. For the longest time, as I was listening to this book, I couldn't understand what festival they were talking about, but then I googled it and I realized that the Lithas Blood festival is something that comes from pagan culture, is a celebration to thank goddess Urda for everything she's given to people. One thing I would like to say is that I think what made me enjoy this book all the more was that it was my first audiobook ever. I hadn't finished any audiobook before this, and you know that's not because I hadn't tried. So this was the first audiobook that I tried that I loved so much that I was hooked to it from the get-go. And so the narrator's voice, her accent, everything added so much to this story that I was just cocooned in this one magical bubble. And yeah, I really enjoyed Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. I'm gonna give it a 4.25 out of 5 stars. So I would highly recommend it to you if fantasy is your genre and you're also looking to read more on retellings. On a side note, I feel like Sea Witch will always have that special place in my heart because this is the first audiobook that I ever started and finished, and this book has made me open to the idea of audiobooks so much that whenever I am free, instead of listening to music, I am always tuned in to another audiobook. That's it for this review. Let me know if you like this format. Let me know if you've read this book or you plan to. You definitely should. This is easily going up on my top reads of 2018. Please like, share, subscribe, click the bell icon, comment down below, do all of that jazz, and I will see you with another video soon. Bye!